Welcome, my lovely learners, to today's activity. We'll be looking at food spoilage. Food spoilage. Let's quickly look at our objective. We are learning to what? Identify the methods to use. Method used to what? Preserve food. Method used to preserve food from what? Spoilage. Identify the methods used to preserve food from spoilage. 2. The importance of preserving food. The importance of preserving food. This is just a short activity that we'll be doing today. Food spoilage. Food spoilage. Okay. Now, in our previous lesson, we learned about food spoilage. We also look at some causes of food spoilage. What are some of the causes? We spoke on temperature, what? We said light, we said air, a lot. We mentioned a lot. Today we'll be looking at some methods of what? Preventing food from spoiling. Some method used to prevent food from spoiling. Let's look at these methods. 1. Drying. Some food crops that can be dried, I mentioned earlier on, we can dry fish. Example, Kobe, kako, and momoni. Kobe, kako, and momoni, we can dry them. Let's look at the other one. I said the first one is what? Drying. The next one is what? Refrigeration. There are some food crops you need to put them in your freezers so that the temperature over there is very cold, so that the food stuff over there can take to or can get those cool temperatures to preserve themselves. When the temperature is cool, for instance, fridge, sometimes your parents will be preparing food and put the food, they will dish it in a bowl and put them in a deep freezer, whereby it can make a total ice. You get it? That is what we are talking about, refrigeration. Sometimes some people, they will peel cassava. If they don't want to dry the cassava to become cocote, they want to prepare food the next day. That fresh cassava, I earlier on told you that some people, they dark a place, pour water and put a whole cassava in it and cover it. Then maybe 3 days time they can remove it and it will look fresh. 4 days time or 1 week. But these people, they can peel the cassava nicely, cut it into sizable size, then put them in a rubber, wrap it nicely, then put the cassava into deep freezer. That is what we are referring to refrigeration. You realize that for some days it will freeze. When you are ready, 5 days, 1 week, 2 weeks time to use your cassava for fufu, you can only go and take it from the deep freezer. Then you put it down for some time. It will only defreeze. Then you use it. Now salting. I earlier on mentioned some fish. Some fishes. Look at Kobe, kako, any momoni. Kobe, kako, momoni. They are all preserved by the process of salting and drying. Do you get it? Salting, they will add salt to it and then later put it on the sun to dry. Let's look at what? Smoking. We have fish. We have a lot of products or items that can be done through this process. Fish can be smoked and other things. Let's look at baking. Your parents, some of them, they are bakers, they have been baking bread. That is the only way to preserve the bread. proper baking of bread, your pie, everything. You get it? All right, we have other means of preserving food, but let's take to these few ones. In your question, I'll be asking you more questions on this. Let's look at some importance of preserving food. Some importance of preserving food. Now, the first one, the first purpose to what? To keep the food or the food item longer. To keep the food item longer. Now, it also prevents it from what? Spoiling. Do you understand? Sometimes if you don't want your food item to get spoiled, for instance, my cabbage, I want my cabbage to last for at least 3 weeks or more. I'll only put my cabbage in the fridge. The temperature over there will maintain the cabbage to look fresh. Now, also, when you maintain that cabbage to look fresh, you realize that it has kept the cabbage long. That is, it takes some time to preserve the cabbage longer. Now, keep reading through this till we meet again. Bye-bye.